You think it's easy when your hat falls off every time you sit down. It's not. It was a very beautiful gospel. Well known as the Christmas gospel. Sounds very sweet, very sentimental. And yet when you read carefully, you saw how it was forced upon people. Cyrenius, the governor, for example, simply wanted to get people out of his territory. He wanted to get them calculated. He wanted to use them in every way that he could. So he succeeded. He got them out of there. And then, because of God's goodness and mercy and divine providence, they did what they were to do. And of course, Mary and Joseph had their Christ child. And everything proceeded from there. God writes straight with crooked lines, will let no one interfere. But that was only the beginning and not the end. We would not be here had this been only the ending. Each of us is here for a different purpose. Each of us given very special graces by Almighty God. Each of us could review this beautiful gospel and ask what it is that Almighty God has in store for us. We are Christian here. We are Catholic. We are Jewish. We are individuals of a whole variety of persuasions. Some of the gentlest people that I know here are people who, if you will forgive my reference, are these days being very especially helpful to me. My own doctors, my doctors at Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital, my doctors here on this side of town, one of them Jewish, one of them Asian. Each one treats me, however, with such gentleness, with such a sense of worth. And it seems to me that this is the heart of what we should be reflecting on this evening. How we treat one another. This is, after all, what our divine Lord brought into this world. How we treat one another. Our divine Lord suffered ultimately, terribly, for every one of us. He suffered to make it possible for each of us to love. Without that suffering, there would be no way of our truly understanding and loving one another. This is not perhaps a great lesson to bring on Christmas Eve. So many things could be said in much more charming fashion. So many things might mean so much more. But could anything in the final analysis really mean more than that we love one another with a gentleness, with a true, profound love? This is, of course, a difficult city. This is a difficult country. We're all familiar with this. We know how hard we have to try if we're going to have harmony, if we're going to reach out in love. Many of you here, and I know you'll permit me to speak very bluntly, have enormous responsibilities. You have political responsibilities, academic responsibilities. Some of us have responsibilities for a special role in the church. Our bishops up here in the sanctuary, our priests, our religious, give themselves totally, entirely in doing their best. We know that there are those of you with whom perhaps we might agree or disagree politically, who do your very best to try to make this city everything that it can be and should be. But I am certain that you understand that without the help of Almighty God, without our reason for being here tonight, without our recognizing that some 2,000 years ago, Almighty God gave us the immense power of joining in Him, in joining with Him, in His love, in His kindness, in His gentleness. After having waited for 2,000 years to bring us into this next millennium, He did that for each of us. Whatever our religious persuasion here tonight, but if it did not fuse us into love, then what was truly accomplished? Because Christ is love. I must say this to you, whatever your religious persuasion, we believe in this cathedral that Jesus, the Lord, is love. It is the love of Jesus that can fuse us together. It is the love of Jesus that can take us into this next millennium. It is the love of Jesus, and only the love of Jesus, that will create for us a truly new world. May all of us commit ourselves to whatever love we can muster in our hearts, knowing that it is only in love that this world can become what Almighty God wanted this world to become. It is my personal prayer that this be the most wonderful Christmas any of us have ever had. God knows what will happen to any one of us in the future. But the one thing we do know is that for better, for worse, we can, every one of us, live in love. God bless you.